Hey everyone, welcome back.
Yeah.
So
What do you
today
think?
we're diving into something I
Uh,
think a lot of you guys are really passionate about,
mm-hmm.
which is getting better at English.
Yeah.
And we've got some really fascinating material from a language teacher and learner,
Okay.
and their perspective is so refreshing.
Interesting.
It's not just about textbooks and grammar.
Right.
It's really about making the whole learning process
Mm-hmm.
way more engaging and fun.
It is interesting how we often get so caught up in like the how-to
Yes.
language learning that we forget about the why
Totally.
and the enjoyment that
Yeah.
comes with it.
And this teacher really walks the walk.
Uh-huh.
They shared that they carve out time to study a new language every single morning
Wow.
before even starting their workday.
Really?
Indonesian.
That's dedication.
I know. Talk about dedication.
Yeah.
Um,
That really highlights the power of consistency, I think.
yeah.
That it's not about cramming in hours of study when you can, but it's about making it a regular habit,
Right.
even if it's just 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Think of it like building a muscle.
Oh,
You know, those small, consistent efforts over time
absolutely.
yield incredible results.
So I'm curious, thinking about like your own English goals, what are you hoping to achieve?
Yeah.
Is it traveling the world
Mm-hmm.
and being able to chat with locals?
Yeah.
Maybe landing that dream job
Uh-huh.
abroad?
Sure.
Keep that goal in mind as we go through these insights.
Yeah.
Because it's all about making that journey smoother and more enjoyable.
And that brings us to one of the teacher's biggest points. Having fun while you learn.
Oh, yeah.
They're a huge advocate for making the process feel less like a chore and
Yeah.
more like something you genuinely look forward to.
Yeah, they even shared some pretty relatable stories
Mm-hmm.
about their own language learning journey,
Mm-hmm.
like feeling nervous,
Yeah.
speaking other languages,
Mm.
and making tons of mistakes.
Mm.
It's so reassuring to know that even experienced language learners go through those same struggles.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is how they reframe those mistakes.
Yeah.
They don't see them as failures, but as valuable learning opportunities.
It's like that saying, the only way to avoid making mistakes
Mhm.
is to avoid doing anything at all.
Right.
But that wouldn't get us very far, would it?
Not at all.
Especially in language learning.
Yeah.
Mistakes are inevitable,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually crucial for growth.
Yeah. They help you pinpoint those areas where you need to focus your efforts.
Yes.
So instead of getting discouraged,
Yeah.
try asking yourself, okay, what went wrong here? What can I learn from this and do differently next time?
I love that.
Yeah,
It takes the
Yeah.
pressure off
Yeah.
and turns those slip-ups into stepping stones.
absolutely.
So how do we actually put this into practice
Yeah, how do we make it fun?
and make English learning more fun?
Yeah.
Well, the teacher had some really practical tips. For example, they said, ditch the boring textbooks.
Oh,
Unless you
Right.
genuinely enjoy them, of course.
you're right.
And find books on topics that actually interest you.
Okay.
So think about it. If you're passionate about sports or animals or technology,
Uh-huh.
why not dive into English books
Yeah,
about those things?
exactly. And this goes beyond books.
Okay.
YouTube is a gold mine
Oh, yeah,
of engaging content in English.
it is.
Whether you're into fashion, cars, cooking, anything else under the sun,
Yeah.
there are videos out there just waiting to be discovered.
And one more thing that really resonated with me was the teacher's emphasis on connecting with other English speakers or learners.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I know it can feel daunting at first,
Yeah, sure.
especially if you're not confident in your speaking skills.
Yeah.
But finding a local practice group or joining an online community can be a game changer.
It is all about creating a safe and supportive environment where you can practice without judgment, make mistakes, and learn from each other's experiences.
Exactly.
We'll dive into some specific platforms and resources a bit later.
Okay, now for a little twist.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about the teacher studying Indonesian every morning?
Uh-huh.
Well, there's more to that routine than just dedication.
Okay.
They actually have a really interesting approach to learning new things
Okay.
that I think could apply to any skill,
Right.
not just languages.
Yeah, it's about shifting our perspective
Yes.
on how we approach learning itself.
Exactly.
And trust me, this is where things get really exciting.
Okay.
But we'll save that juicy insight for the next part of our deep dive.
All right. Sounds good.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So remember how our language teacher mentioned studying Indonesian every morning? Well, it turns out there's a method to their madness.
Okay.
They swear by focusing on just one thing at a time.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What do you mean by that?
So instead of juggling multiple skills or grammar points, they dedicate their energy to mastering one element before moving on to the next.
Okay.
It's like building a house. You wouldn't try to put up the walls before the foundation is solid, right?
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
I've definitely been guilty of trying to do too much at once
Right.
when learning English.
Yeah.
It's easy to get overwhelmed and
Yeah.
feel like you're not making progress.
Exactly. And that's where this approach can be so helpful.
Okay.
So let's say you're struggling with verb tenses.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to learn all 12 tenses at once,
Right.
pick just one, maybe the present simple.
Yeah.
And practice it until you feel comfortable using it in different situations.
Okay.
Then move on to the next tense.
So it's about breaking down those big, complex tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Exactly.
Not only does this make learning less intimidating,
Right.
but it also allows you to really focus on understanding and mastering each concept.
Right. And it works for any aspect of English learning. Struggling with vocabulary, choose a theme like travel or food and learn words related to that.
Right.
Want to improve your pronunciation? Focus on mastering one sound at a time.
I love how this approach promotes a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
Like those small victories along the way can be so motivating.
Absolutely. It's all about building momentum and celebrating those wins.
Yeah. Now, speaking of stepping outside your comfort zone,
Okay.
the teacher shared another gem about their learning process. It's about being open to new experiences and pushing yourself beyond those comfortable boundaries.
Yes. They talked about how even as an experienced language learner, they still get nervous speaking in other languages.
It reminds me of the saying, growth happens outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
It's easy to stay within those familiar boundaries, but that's not where the real learning and progress happen.
Right. And this applies directly to English learning. To truly improve, you need to create opportunities to use the language in real-world situations.
So what are some practical ways to do this?
Well, it could be something as simple as striking up a conversation with a stranger.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Or joining an online language exchange program where you can practice with a native speaker.
Those kinds of interactions, though they might feel nerve-wracking at first, are invaluable for building confidence and fluency.
Absolutely. It's like taking those skills you've been practicing and putting them to the test in a real-world setting.
Exactly. And if you have the opportunity, try immersing yourself in an English-speaking environment. Travel to a country where English is spoken. Or if that's not possible, connect with English speakers online through forums or groups or even online games.
Absolutely.
The more you surround yourself with the language, the faster you'll absorb it. And the more comfortable you'll become using it naturally.
It's about creating opportunities for spontaneous learning.
And
pushing yourself to communicate, even when it feels a little uncomfortable.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to ask you a question. What's one area of English learning that makes you feel hesitant or a bit nervous? Is it speaking, writing, maybe listening?
Think about what makes you want to stay within those comfortable boundaries. Identifying those areas is the first step towards tackling them and unlocking your full potential as an English speaker.
Remember, everyone starts somewhere. Embrace the journey. Be kind to yourself. And celebrate those small victories along the way.
And now for the grand finale. Remember that game-changing mindset shift we teased earlier? Well, it's about embracing the idea of lifelong learning.
I love that.
It's about viewing learning as a continuous journey, not just something you do in school or to achieve a specific goal.
I love that it's like our language teacher. They're constantly seeking out new knowledge and challenges, even beyond their primary expertise. It's inspiring to see someone so dedicated to growth and exploration.
This whole idea of lifelong learning is really powerful. It shifts away from the traditional view of education as something that ends after school or university. And makes it an ongoing part of life.
Exactly. It reframes learning as a journey of constant growth and discovery. It's not about reaching a destination, but about continually expanding your horizons. And embracing new challenges.
And the best part is it applies to everything, not just language learning. It could be exploring a new hobby. Taking an online course in a subject you've always been curious about. Or even just reading books and articles outside your usual interests.
It's about cultivating that curiosity
Totally.
And that thirst for knowledge.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be this huge time commitment.
Right. Even dedicating a few minutes each day to learning something new can make a big difference.
So thinking about everything we've discussed today, from the power of consistency and finding joy in the process, to embracing mistakes and stepping outside our comfort zones, how can we put these insights into action?
I think the key is to start small and focus on making learning a habit.
Okay.
What's one small step you can take today to make your English learning more fun and engaging? Maybe it's finally picking up that book you've been meaning to read, downloading a language learning app, or even just spending 15 minutes reviewing vocabulary.
Yeah. The important thing is to find what works for you.
Right.
And make it a part of your daily routine.
Exactly. And remember, we've talked about a lot of different strategies and resources today. If you feel overwhelmed, don't try to do everything at once.
Yeah.
Pick one thing that resonates with you.
Right.
And start there.
And remember, learning should be enjoyable. If you're not having fun, you're less likely to stick with it.
Absolutely.
So explore different methods. Try new things. And don't be afraid to experiment until you find what clicks for you.
Yeah. Find what works for you.
We're so excited for you to continue this journey of English learning.
Yeah, good luck.
Remember, every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals.
Absolutely.
And as we've learned from this incredible language teacher, the most important thing is to embrace the process. Stay curious and never stop learning.
Yeah.
Happy learning, everyone.